Shout out to our sponsor, Blue Apron. For less than $10 a meal, Blue Apron delivers seasonal recipes with ingredients and step-by-step instructions that make cooking easy. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping when you visit blueapron.com/theknow. Welcome to The Know, I'm Ashley Jenkins. Watch out, GameStop shoppers. Anyone who's made a credit card purchase through the video game retailer's website in recent months may have been subject to a little teensy-tiny security breach. Security news site Krebs Security reports that GameStop is investigating a possible hack after being alerted to the fact that credit card user information from GameStop.com was up for sale online. 2 sources from financial institutions have confirmed this as well, indicating that the breach possibly covers any purchases made between September 2016 and February 2017 and includes credit card numbers, expiration dates, names, addresses, and a 3-digit security verification number on the back. So basically, everything, and covering the busiest game season of the year. Also, right up there with all your Switch pre-orders. Yay! As if GameStop wasn't having enough problems already. Now, it's been a while since we've heard anything out of either Assassin's Creed or Far Cry, but now we're getting just a little bit of movement, sort of. It looks like Ubisoft creative director Alex Hutchinson is leaving the company after 7 years. So, depending on your perspective, that's a good movement or a bad movement. Hutchinson, who was the director of both Assassin's Creed 3 and Far Cry 4, is leaving to start his own development company at Typhoon Studios to work on a brand new game. Hutchinson tweeted, "So, I left Ubisoft after 7 years, extremely proud of all we achieved on Far Cry and Assassins, but very excited to build something new." Nintendo is going to be dishing out some details this week about some of their biggest upcoming Switch games. This morning, the company announced a Nintendo Direct for April 12th, where they'll be telling fans more about ARMS and Splatoon 2. They also said they'll be revealing some more about upcoming Switch and 3DS games as well. Splatoon 2 is set for release this summer, while the motion control boxer ARMS has been mentioned for sometime in the spring, but with no specific date or even specific month. Hopefully, we'll be getting release dates for one or both of those games at the Direct, and who knows, maybe some new games to look forward to. Speaking of new games you should be looking forward to and enjoying a great deal, Persona 5's early results are out for the UK, and apparently it's doing quite well. It debuted at number 1 in the UK, according to retail tracker GfK Chart Track, and making it the first JRPG to debut in the number 1 spot since 2013's Ni no Kuni. That launch also marks the biggest ever for the Persona series in the UK, and we've already seen a lot about Persona being the biggest title in the series so far, already in like a week. Now, in addition to the Persona 5 launch details, we're also getting a bit more information regarding last month's hit Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Data analyst VG Charts reports that the new Zelda moved a combined 1.5 million units between its Switch and Wii U versions. The Switch version made up for 1.1 million of those sales, while the Wii U version accounted for 372,000 sales. Horizon Zero Dawn launched earlier this year to critical acclaim and massive commercial success. It was one of the best launches for a new IP for Sony ever, and now developer Guerrilla Games is talking just a little bit about what a sequel might hold. Of course there's going to be a sequel. You knew there would be, right? Speaking to Game Informer, narrative director John Gonzalez said that first and foremost, the story would have to be right if the company chose to make another one. Gonzalez said, "Should a sequel happen, our number one goal would be to respect that connection by doing our utmost to create a story that resonates just as deeply. We feel duty-bound to honor the time that players have invested into Horizon Zero Dawn. The last thing we want to do is disappoint the folks who've given the game such a passionate support." Meanwhile, the game's art director, Jan Bart van Beek, said a Horizon Zero Dawn 2 would have to have more machines. So we'll see if Guerrilla Games revisits Horizon Zero Dawn. If they do, at least we know it'll be machinier, and we've already heard indications that it has got franchise potential and that, well, Sony definitely would like to do more with it. Now, BioWare launched the first of a series of fixes for Mass Effect Andromeda last week. The 1.05 patch went a long way towards reworking some of the game's animation problems by fixing, the melty faces and also the eyes. However, there was also a little bit of a surprise in the update as far as the game's pirates were concerned. According to DSO Gaming, the patch also stealth launched a brand new version of the DRM de novo. So, no more fixed faces for you pirates. You have to deal with crazy eyes. That's your punishment. The game previously shipped with a slightly older and more crackable version of the software protection, and pirates managed to crack it in just 10 days. This new version of Denuvo has yet to be cracked, but I'm sure pirates will stop at nothing. If you have the motivation to get the faces fixed, someone will find a way. Overwatch on the Switch still seems like a kind of a long shot, but its director recently gave Nintendo fans a teeny tiny glimmer of hope. Express Online reported that Overwatch director Jeff Kaplan said that Blizzard is open to a Switch port of the game, but that it would be a challenge. To make it happen, Kaplan said that Blizzard would have to revisit performance to make Overwatch run on the Switch, which makes sense given that the Switch's hardware is significantly behind the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. But Kaplan says he's a big fan of the Switch and hasn't ruled out a port to the hybrid console. He said, "Just because we're not on the platform right now, it doesn't mean we won't reconsider it in the future, so we stay aware of all these things." So you're saying there's a chance? Yeah. Speaking of Blizzard, the company continues to shuffle its staff into mysterious new projects. Recently, the lead gameplay designer of StarCraft 2 said he's moving to a new project in the company, becoming the third design or project lead to leave their game for something new in the company. On Blizzard's forums, David Kim wrote, "I've reached a point in my career where I've decided to branch out to a different project to explore, learn, and grow as a game designer. This other project will be right here at Blizzard." He is not the first of Blizzard to make a move like this. PC Games and reported back in October, World of Warcraft's game director Tom Chilton moved to another project within the company, also equally vague. Then he was followed by Heroes of the Storm's game director Dustin Browder in December. Now, we won't know what that new project or projects are yet, but we do have a few clues. Blizzard currently has job postings for software engineers to work on a robust first-person engine for an unannounced project. And we know that Blizzard is working on a remastered StarCraft, so it could involve one or both of those, or maybe something completely different. We'll just have to wait and see. But it's Blizzard, so whatever it is probably gonna be good. Now, speaking of good things, could we see Fast and the Furious in space? Honestly, considering some of the movies, Vin Diesel in a flying car, not that unrealistic. The screenwriter of the latest installment of the franchise, The Fate of the Furious, says he's open to that possibility. In an interview with Uproxx, screenwriter Chris Morgan said that he gets that question a lot and added, "The only way I'd go to space is if I had something so good." He added that there are no current plans to do so, but at any rate, the latest installment hits theaters this week, and so far, doing pretty well with critics, scoring a 73% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, it looks like General Leia will appear in the next not one, but 2 Star Wars movies. Now, we know that Carrie Fisher, who died last year, had already shot her scenes for Episode VIII, but now we're hearing from her brother that she will appear in Episode IX as well. The New York Daily News reports that her brother, Todd Fisher, says that she'll appear in Episode IX not as a CGI character, but courtesy of existing footage. Fisher said that he and Carrie's daughter, Billie Lourd, gave the studio rights to use recent footage for Episode IX, but the understanding is that CGI won't be used. Her brother added, "Both of us were like, yes, how do you take her out of it? And the answer is, you don't." The new teaser for Thor Ragnarok is out, and it features a newly trimmed Thor squaring off as a gladiator against a fellow Avenger. The trailer opens with Thor hanging upside down over a dark pit, starting off, in kind of a hard spot. Worse, he's lost his magical hammer Mjolnir after Hela, the goddess of death, smashed it into a million pieces, which makes it difficult to pick up. Thor ends up on the barbaric planet Sakaar and is forced into combat as a gladiator. In the end of the trailer, we get to see his opponent, the Hulk, who is in full armor. So it looks like we're gonna get a little bit of a Planet Hulk storyline thrown in for good measure, which is very, very exciting. I know we've all been looking forward to it, but it's nice to see it in the teaser. Can't wait for the movie, which is gonna be hitting theaters on November 3rd. Now, we think we found the meanest, nastiest piece of malware ever invented. You think you've seen some bad ones, but no, this takes the cake. If you haven't heard, there is a piece of ransomware floating around that not only infects your computers, but to get your data back, you have to score 200 million points on a shoot 'em up game on lunatic mode. Because yes, there is real evil in this world. The malware's name is called Rensenware, named after the bullet hell PC game Toho Sorensen, undefined fantastic object. And it's apparently not a joke. If you don't hit the necessary score, say goodbye to your data. PC Games N says that the malware was developed by a Korea-based undergraduate student, but initially it was intended as a joke. The creator has since apologized and released a way to bypass the high score requirement. Honestly, is an apology enough? I kind of feel like he should have to score 200 million points in that game as part of his penance, just so that he is very clear what everyone else is going through on this one. Alright, that's all the news we have for you guys today. Rounded up from the weekend. Let us know what you think of all the stories in the comments down below. Make sure you like this video so that all of our videos show up in your feed. And if you're new around here, subscribe to the Know. Thanks to Blue Apron for sponsoring this update. Blue Apron helps you become a wonderkind in the kitchen. They offer new recipes for you to try every week with no weekly commitment, so you get deliveries when you want them. If you're super busy, you don't need to worry about it. Every meal comes with a step-by-step recipe card and all the highest quality ingredients you need to make your meal in 40 minutes or less. You can check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping when you visit blueapron.com/theknow. They've actually, this week, I just want to let you know, they've got like a mole beef chili that sounds absolutely amazing. I saw it this morning. I was like, order, because that way I can make, I never thought I could make chili, but apparently I can. And like spicy chicken sandwiches, maybe to go with it, or maybe like just a follow-up meal. That's the sequel to the meal, it's the sequel to the chili. I'm excited. I really like food.